Welcome to day 69. Millionaire Underdog. Underdog, millionaire. Do those two go together? Absolutely. We do everything for one of two reasons, because we have to or because we want to. I want to share with you a little bit about my story. When I was born in 1957, my mother had complications. At the very beginning of my birth, I was separated from my mother and spent time with my grandparents. My mom stayed in the hospital for quite some time, and then I was reunited with my mother. But another challenge happened. When I was 2 years old, actually when I was a little bit younger than 2, my older sister was diagnosed with leukemia. So the entire family was thrown into another drama, because in the 50s, when a person was diagnosed with leukemia, it was a death sentence. Here my little sister, her name was Valerie, a sweet little girl that loved to ride horses, was diagnosed with leukemia when she was 3 years old. And from the age 3 to age 6, she was in and out of the hospital, and my mother and my family spent time at the hospital. And I was kind of shuffled from my mom, our home, to my grandparents, to friends, to babysitters. And so I didn't get that kind of bonding that a lot of kids get, where they're able to spend time with their mother and father. I could have been a victim, and I kind of was a victim, because I mean, what could a little kid do at that age? Also, with all the stress and the drama that was going on in our life, my father started drinking alcohol. And he drank to excess. And sometimes when he drank, he didn't know what he was doing. He would go into what's called a blackout. And sometimes people got beat up, and sometimes he disappeared. So that created more drama in my life. I made it from 0 to 5. I made it through the funeral of my sister when I was only 2. But there was a lot of drama in our life. We lived in a small house, the smallest house, one of the smallest houses in the neighborhood. Around us, there were larger houses, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, air conditioning and heat. Our house was a 3-bedroom, but we had window air conditioners, which was wonderful. We had one window air conditioner, so we had to leave the doors open. We had a 1-car garage instead of a 2-car garage. I was the underdog. The other kids had more. Their parents were at home. Life was better for them, and I saw myself as an underdog. At school, in all the different classrooms, each one of our, at the elementary school I went to, each one of the classes put together a kickball team. And obviously they didn't need all the members of the class to be on the team, and I did not get selected. I noticed that in other classes there were kids that didn't get selected also. So what I decided to do, I went from classroom to classroom with the teacher's permission, and I said, if you didn't get selected, meet me on the playground. And I started a kickball team of underdogs in the 2nd grade. And the underdogs, we came together and we practiced a little bit harder. We had more heart into it, and we won the kickball championship of that elementary school. We all have setbacks in our lives. I know what it's like to grow up in a family with drama. But we don't have to have drama in our current family. I love my wife and I love my children. I'm there to support them, and we don't allow, or we try to eliminate competition within our house. From the 2nd grade to the 3rd grade, we moved from that little house into a large house on a private lake, right in the middle of a neighborhood, where all the other people, their houses were smaller. They didn't have a swimming pool. They didn't have a lake. Our lake was clean enough you could drink the water. It had fish in it, and we could swim, and we could boat, and we could canoe. We could just have a great day. And I would venture out from my house, and I'd go into the regular neighborhood, and I would meet kids. And they would say, where do you live? And I would say, I live on the lake. And they were shocked that I lived on the private lake. And I would say, come over to the house and come swimming, come fishing. And they did. And one day, there were about 30 of us fishing and swimming and laughing and having a great time. And this kid walked up to me and he said, you think these people are your friends? You think these guys are your friends? And I said, sure. He said, no, they're not. They're just using you. I said, what do you mean they're just using me? They don't like you. They talk about you when you're not around. You're selfish, and you're da-da-da. And they said bad things about me. They gossiped. So I said, you're right. You are my only best friend. So I called all the 30+ kids up to the porch and I said, leave, get out of here. You don't like me for who I am. You're just using me for my stuff. And they left. The next day I called my one friend. I said, you coming over? He came over. We had a boring day. There wasn't anything really going on at the lake. There was no laughter. All the other kids were gone because I ran them off. The next day I called him. I said, are you coming over? He said, no, it's boring over at your house. There's nothing to do. Then I realized that God puts things in my life. I didn't deserve to be able to live on a private lake. I didn't deserve to have all those kids coming over to the house. They came over because God had blessed our family with an incredible house. And when I was sharing, I had friends. And if they weren't friends, it was my responsibility to make them friends, to be a friend. If you want to have friends, you got to be a friend. And so I slowly started rebuilding friendships. And when God gives me toys, when God gives me blessing, I share those blessings with other people. We're all underdogs. All of us are underdogs. Some people are smarter than us. Some people are better looking than us. Some people have better families, better homes, better health. We need to help the underdog because we're all underdogs. The more we give, the more we live. How can we help other people? If you have an opportunity to help somebody, do it. Look for ways to help people. Invite people to come along. Invite people to lunch. Invite people to dinner. Call people up that you know are lonely, that are sitting at home, and just listen to them and love them. We are all underdogs. Help the underdog. Thank you very much. Please subscribe and share this channel with other people. Have a wonderful day.